ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਥ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਸਰਟੀਫਾਈਡ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਸ਼ਨਲ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟੀਸ਼ਨਰ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਵਿਸ਼ਾ ਰਹੇਗਾ ਕਿ ਸਕੂਲਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਉੱਤੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਸ਼ਨ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦੇਣੀ ਕਿਉਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਓਬਿਸਿਟੀ ਵੱਧਦੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਬੱਚੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਜੂਝ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਇਸ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਵੱਡਾ ਇਹ ਕਾਰਨ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਵਾਉਣ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਉਹ ਸੁਹਿਰਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਨ। ਮਾਂ-ਬਾਪ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਵੀ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਉੱਤੇ ਫਾਸਟ ਫੂਡ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਚਿੰਤਤ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਇਹ ਸਮਰਪਿਤ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੇ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਤੋਂ ਕਿ ਕਿਉਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਸਕੂਲਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਸ਼ਨਲ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਣੀ ਤੇ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਨਿਭਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ, ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ। Thank you. Why is it important that in schools children ought to be taught about nutritional education, and also how you are playing a role by going to different schools, and what kind of environment do you find over there?
Great question. When I growing up and we all went to school, one of the things now as an adult I wish we did when we were younger, we were taught finances, which is really important in our life. And then we're taught health and nutrition. And unfortunately, those subjects are not taught. But there are schools that are stepping up to the plate and understanding that that's a very big missing element. Right. And there are programs, like even some government programs that allow for, when it comes to financial education, they will come on and volunteer and bring professionals to speak about finances. But there's also programs that are available, or things that people can do, or schools can take initiative in bringing a practitioner to educate about extracurricular, like the courses that are not usually taught in programs. So there are two schools that I particularly worked with in North Vancouver and West Vancouver who are educating, who are taking that extra initiative, and who are bringing practitioners and professionals from other industries to educate their students, to give them examples, and to allow them to critically think and learn to take risks and educate themselves and ask a lot of questions.
That's very important what you touched, that neither finance nor about your health, anything is taught in the schools. No doubt children are told to do some exercises, there are some physical training programs, but when it comes to nutrition, it is left up to the parents what they are feeding their children. Also the government feeds the children sometimes, but again, what content is being given, that is what needs to be looked into. So what's your experience? Of course, we know in the schools these things are not given any prominence. Of course, there are some schools where even the colas have been taken out, but overall when you go to the schools, what do you find which is lacking, and when you interact with the students, how much interest are they showing?
You brought up an important point, exactly. You have everything's pretty much, we're relying on parents to do the right job. But then if the parents have never been taught that in schools, parents are not doing the right things at home too. So we have this perpetual, generational kind of lack of information or lack of education, and people, so if the parents don't know the information, the kids will not have the examples that they want to live by. And then they go to school, and most of the schools, as you mentioned, they have all of those vending machines with packaged food, with candy and all the different sugars, processed sugar, treats and chips, and then they have all the sodas. And whether it's colas and alike, or different companies that supply sports drinks or so-called vitamin waters that only have synthetic stuff in them and lots of sugar. And of course, when you go to the cafeterias as well, even the schools that I went to, and I taught on nutrition because they are ahead of others in bringing a practitioner in and educating them about nutrition, what they're feeding children is actually quite scary. So their cafeterias are supplying and always providing foods that are highly processed, foods that are deep fried, foods that are very, very nutrient depleted, and in no way clean, or something that I would give to my child. So yeah, there's a gap.
So again, as you said, parents are not aware probably, or they don't have the time, because the lifestyle they are having, that's what they are carrying on to the children also. When you interact with the youngsters, what kind of response do you get? Are they attentive to what is said to them? Because a thing, we say we should have green things. We talk many times about it. You want to lead a healthy lifestyle, don't be a couch potato, do some exercise, eat the greens, it'll help you. But for a small child, these things are not having any importance. So when you interact with them, what kind of response is coming?
Oh, it's actually quite fascinating, and I have a really good time with the schools and the teachers that are bringing me in, and the school management. The kids are very receptive. The kids are very curious because it's become a big trend. You know, everybody's talking about superfoods, and everybody's talking about all the healthy foods, and they see there's a big difference between the fast foods that they tend to eat, or that their parents introduce them to what's available now in the markets. And we see there's lots of changes going on, even in commercials. Even the fast food places are trying to bring, kale in, and some different interesting berries or smoothie bowls and things like that. So there's this big hype on the market, so kids are curious, and when they have somebody who's got the knowledge coming in and answering their questions, and they have lots of questions. And I have incredible time when I go to schools. They are sponges, they are active, they're curious, they ask the right questions, they're absolutely brilliant, and then they're so excited they go home or they go back to the campus or whatever. Some of them, like in one of the schools, they live in campus, the international students, and so they will actually buy little blenders and they'll make their own smoothies. And in our experience, what we have done is that actually not only talking about nutrition and how important it is to feed yourself the proper kind of fuel, we actually do recipes. So in the class of a 90-minute class, I'll talk about nutrition and how important to feed your cells, how important to feed your organs, and how our body is made from vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and where do we get them from, but not food. So how important it is that we have enough and we get it the right quality, and then we go into actually making things. So I make them a green smoothie. And of course, some of the kids just have never had a green smoothie before. They've seen them out there, but they think it's not very tasty, or they think it's boring, or they think it's hard. And then when they see that in 3 to 5 minutes I make an incredible smoothie and they all love it, and they ask for a second shot, for a second sample, and then we'll make something like we'll make a mousse, a chocolate mousse, using raw natural ingredients, like instead of any substances and any either dairy or wheat or anything like that. Instead of cooking anything, we make a recipe that is only takes a couple of minutes, and we use things like we make our own almond milk, or we make our own hemp milk. We'll put an avocado in there, we put raw cacao in there, and we put like honey, or we'll put maple syrup or dates. A lot of times we'll use dates, which are whole foods. They're all whole foods and they're high quality, and we make this incredible mousse that we put on top of berries. And they know how they can come home and wow their parents, create like a dessert that only takes 3 minutes, but it doesn't have any guilt attached to it. It's all made from high quality ingredients. So they do get excited. They go home, they go to nutritional stores, and they buy a lot of superfoods for home. They start eating chia seeds. They start bringing in hemp seeds into their diet. They start making their own milks from nuts. And smoothies.
Well, that's wonderful. Of course, this means that children are receptive if they are given that education and the information.
Exactly.
Now, as we are talking, let's go for a short break. We'll come back and learn a little bit more from you as to how parents can inculcate this habit. Antonina cannot go to all the schools and talk to all the children, but how parents can start bringing in small changes by which they can give better nutrition to the children. We'll learn about this after this short break. ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਜੋ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋਈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਕੂਲਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ ਅਤੇ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਈਡਲਾਈਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ ਚੋਂ ਲੰਘੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਮ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਇਹੀ 2 ਐਸਪੈਕਟਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਨੇਗੇਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ। ਪਰ ਇਹ ਹੁਣ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਸਕੂਲਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਵਾਰਤਾਲਾਪ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ, ਜਿਸ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਇਹ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਬੱਚੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਹੀ ਫੂਡ ਖਾਣ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾਤਰ ਫਰਾਈਡ ਫੂਡਸ ਈਵਨ ਕੈਫੇਟੇਰੀਆਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਵੈਂਡਿੰਗ ਮਸ਼ੀਨਸ ਤੋਂ ਨਿਕਲਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਲਾਭਦਾਇਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ। ਪਰ ਜੇਕਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਹੀ ਦਿਸ਼ਾ ਵੱਲ ਲਿਜਾਇਆ ਜਾਏ ਤਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਬੱਚੇ ਰਿਸੈਪਟਿਵ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਛੋਟੀ-ਛੋਟੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਰਾਹੀਂ, ਕੁਝ ਐਕਸਪੈਰੀਮੈਂਟਸ ਰਾਹੀਂ, ਸਮੂਦੀਜ਼ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਜਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਡਿਜ਼ਰਟਸ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਈਜ਼ੀ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਛੋਟੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਚੇਂਜਸ ਲਿਆਉਣ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਬੈਨੀਫੀਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੇ ਇਸ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ। ਸਾਰੀਆਂ 에ਅਰਲਾਈਨਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਟਿਕਟਸ ਤੇ ਬਿਹਤਰੀਨ ਕਸਟਮਰ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਲਈ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਹੈ ਸਪ੍ਰਿੰਗ ਟਰੈਵਲਸ। ਇੰਡੀਆ, ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੀਆਂ ਟਿਕਟਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਪੈਕੇਜ ਟੂਰਸ, ਕਰੂਜ਼ਸ, ਗਰੁੱਪ ਟਰੈਵਲਸ, ਹਨੀਮੂਨ ਪੈਕੇਜਸ ਲਈ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸਿਸ ਆਫਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਹੁਣ ਆਨਲਾਈਨ ਟਿਕਟਸ ਵੀ springtravels.ca ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬੁੱਕ ਕਰਵਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਰੀ ਤੇ ਐਬਟਸਫੋਰਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਫ਼ਤਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਅਜ਼ਮਾ ਕੇ ਵੇਖੋ। ਯੂ ਵਿਲ ਫੀਲ ਦ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਸ। Surrey office 604-501-4040, Abbotsford office 604-556-4000. Once again, welcome back to the program. Antonina ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਸਰਟੀਫਾਈਡ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਸ਼ਨਲ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟੀਸ਼ਨਰ ਨੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੱਸ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਸਕੂਲਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਉਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ Why is it important that in the schools nutritional education should be given? आओ इसी संबंध में और गलबात करते हैं. So before the break, like you mentioned, there's a very good response. You are, practicing with them, making them eat and making them make their own things. And when they go back, they are becoming agents of change in their homes and trying to bring about that change. For the parents who are busy or who have not been told about these things, what would be your message? What to give to their children from home so that, at least they get something better to eat?
Yeah, a very, very important question, because as you said it right, because essentially they're going to come home, and if they don't have the right ingredients or an ability to do things that we're teaching, or to do things that are, becoming, there's so much awareness is growing about, they won't be able to, it will, essentially they'll forget about it,
right,
and it will not become a part of their lifestyle. But I think now that they're so excited, I think parents need to be first and foremost very open-minded. So they need to be open-minded and allow their child to experiment, to grow, to do the right thing.
Right.
And so if the child comes home and says, Mom, I've learned all about smoothies, or I've made this really incredible smoothie in just 3 minutes, and because they learn how easy it is, and they learn that it's actually tasty, because a lot of times both parents and children have misconceptions.
Right.
They think healthy eating is boring, and they think it doesn't taste
delicious.
good, it doesn't, So here the child comes home and says, Mom and Dad, I really want to try this. I want to go along with them, help them. Maybe what they'll need is a simple tool. There are tools that they require to make, whether they're making a juice, whether they're making blending something like making a smoothie. And of course, there are tools that, you can get a blender that will cost you $50 or $80 to a blender that costs $500-600.
Right.
And so it really depends on the budget of the family. But I will definitely pick, I would be excited for my child wanting to having that initiative, and I'd support that in any way I could.
Right.
And then of course, then you want ingredients. Because a very big part of it is, when you're hungry, you go to eat whatever's in the fridge and in the cupboard.
Right.
And if the parents who are the influencers in the house, because they are the ones who have the control of the pocketbook, of the money, if they are always supporting their children, if the cupboards are filled with wonderful foods or ingredients that the food can be made from, the child will continue thriving and experimenting with them or using them. And so this is where they have to play off each other. So the parent has to be willing and open, maybe to find some YouTubes online to how to make smoothies, maybe to find some recipes, maybe go buy a blender, maybe go buy a few of those superfoods that we're talking about. And I think it will be important for us to have a segment on superfoods, and where we can talk about some of the things they can have in the fridge that they can use every day. So so I think if parents, first and foremost, be open-minded, and then support your child to the best of your ability, depending on the budget.
Right, and of course, as you said, the parents have to take the initiative. The child will be inquisitive, will be wanting to, but if there's no ingredient, how are they going to make those things what they want to make? Okay, this is that the parents first of all bring in home those things which help their children, but when it comes to breakfast or lunch, most of the times children are given breakfast, and that what we see is mostly processed things are given to them. What would be your recommendation to parents, especially when the child is going to the school? What kind of food they should be given, which is easy to carry also, which is not pungent, and also in school the children can enjoy?
Yeah, no, good question, because there are so many things that they can still do at home to kind of prep and prepare and take as snacks, or take as even breakfast.
Right.
Majority of the time they'll have breakfast at home, or they'll take a snack with them, or something that mom will pack and they'll be munching in the first class or something like that. I would recommend that definitely that first meal that can be made at home is made at home. So maybe they'll make a smoothie, and they'll take it in a carry-on cup with them. Maybe they'll take, make a chia seed pudding of some sort, or something else, or cut up a bunch of different incredible vegetables and fruits to munch on, among with maybe almond butter to make it more satiating. Things like that. So again, if the home and household has all of those tools and ingredients,
then only they can do it.
Exactly, that's what you're going to put your, you create your box from. So it's the matter of having that. If the child doesn't have access to it, or the parent is not open to learning along, because parents are going to learn a lot from children. The children are going to find more energy, and they're more willing to change, because they're not so accustomed as the, as our generation or our older generation. So the children are the ones who are going to be constantly challenging them. So I think it's up to the parent to make sure that all the ingredients are there, and the child can make that quick. And actually, children get really excited. They will get up 20-30 minutes earlier to make their breakfast and maybe take some snacks.
Right, and if they know, those ingredients are there, and of course technology can be used by which they can incorporate different things. Every day can be a different experience for the children, and parents can really be helping their children to be healthy. It was a
Exactly.
pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for your knowledge. Thank you. ਅੱਜ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਖੀਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਦਾ ਇਹੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਸਮੱਗਰੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਹੈਲਦੀ ਹੈ। ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੈਲਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਿਚਨ 'ਚੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਕੱਢੋ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਓ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਇਸਤੇਮਾਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ। ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਕੁਇਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਇਕਵਿਪਮੈਂਟ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਏ ਜਿਸ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਐਕਸਪੈਰੀਮੈਂਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਬ੍ਰੇਕਫਾਸਟ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਸਮਾਨ ਉਹ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਹੈਲਦੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਜੇਕਰ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਇੱਕ ਮਾਹੌਲ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਤਾਂ ਆਟੋਮੈਟਿਕਲੀ ਬੱਚੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਨ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਲਾਭ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹੈਲਦੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਨ।